crawling through the hills of western Pennsylvania on our way to the borough of SNPJ for the 2008 Slovenefest. On a sunny Saturday afternoon, we took about a 40-mile drive to the northwest of Pittsburgh, almost to the Ohio state line, to the SNPJ Recreation Center. SNPJ is the country's largest Slovenian-American fraternal organization, and in 1965 they opened a 500-acre recreation center, including a beautiful 20-acre lake. There are about 180,000 people of Slovene descent in the U.S., and SNPJ has about 30,000 members scattered across the country. Each year, the second weekend in July, they hold sort of a cultural reunion for Slovene Americans. And looking at the cars lined up across the hills, you can tell that it's very popular, drawing over 6,000 people this year at the 27th annual Slovenefest. By now, you've probably also figured out that the big attraction are polkas. Slovenefest is sort of like a Woodstock for polkas. This year's Slovenefest featured 31 polka bands performing on 4 different stages with gigantic dance floors, including some from Slovenia, like Tramontana. The largest of the dance floors is the International Pavilion, shown here, a really neat, breezy kind of open-air facility. And these clips, taken about 2 in the afternoon, show that you don't have to wait to nightfall to enjoy yourself. The crowd on the dance floor did grow as the afternoon progressed, and by 4 o'clock there were about 400 people dancing in the International Pavilion. While the International Pavilion featured bands from Slovenia and Canada, the second largest pavilion, the outside stage, a big tent and another big dance floor, featured bands from the Pittsburgh-Cleveland area, including Jack Taddy and the JTB, the Jack Taddy Bears. Of course, dancing barefoot is always fun. The festival runs over 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with at least 4 different bands performing at each of the 4 different pavilions. So you end up with perhaps 16 bands each day. Then, in a second big outdoor tent, there's a jam session, a polka jam session, where both amateur and professional musicians can bring their instruments and play along. Of course, while the accordion, or more traditionally Slovenian, the button box, is the instrument of choice, there's also a fair number of keyboards, trumpets, trombones, and tubas, all playing along. There are 2 indoor venues inside the lodge. The first, a traditional Slovenian tavern, with, in this case, another band from Slovenia playing, and another, but much smaller, dance floor. The fourth and final venue is the Alpine Room, a local favorite for weddings, and in this case another Ohio band, Dick Taddy and the DT, playing slower songs for a relatively large audience, and again another relatively large dance floor. Of course, music isn't the only draw. There's lots and lots of food, both American and Slovenian favorites, in a carnival kind of atmosphere with sales booths set up around the walkways, featuring everything from dumplings to coney dogs to elephant ears and pierogies and kawasi, stuffed cabbage, and more important than everything else, of course, potica, Slovenian nut roll. Another favorite is roast lamb and pork, done on a gigantic portable roaster that basically rotates whole lambs and pigs at a time. You can't get much fresher food with carving done right on the spot, with a delicious smoky flavor and really good taste. There's a little something for everyone, even a kids' play area. Back indoors again, the Slovene Heritage Center is one of the reasons that the SNPJ exists, and that is to preserve Slovene-American culture. The center is located inside the main lodge at the Recreation Center and was founded in 1976. The center traces the history of Slovenes in America, dating all the way back to the early 1800s missionaries, and it does a very good job of talking about the history of SNPJ itself. The society was founded in 1904, and lodges are scattered around the United States. Of course, there's a tribute to polka music, and Slovene-American Frankie Yankovic, America's Polka King. There's also a tribute to the coal miners of western Pennsylvania, an occupation that an awful lot of the early immigrants ended up in. But the majority of the displays deal with Slovenian culture, and the hope chests, and clothes, and artifacts that the immigrants brought to this country. Back outside again, the 500 acres of the Recreation Center are pretty much beautiful any time of the year. Included a turn-of-the-century barn, the pavilions that you've seen already, as well as an RV court, camping area, 60 cabins, gigantic swimming pool that's used pretty much all summer, and on a hot July afternoon, it's a pretty good way for a lot of kids to relax and take it easy. As you can see in the background, there's also a putt-putt golf course, tennis courts, ballina courts, playgrounds, and volleyball, and a few other activities to keep people busy. And after a few hours at Slovenefest, there doesn't seem to be anything unusual at all about someone walking around carrying a tuba. So, all too soon, it was time to head back to Pittsburgh, again through those rolling hills of western Pennsylvania.
Stars shining around you, as shadows surround me. We danced all around you as the